What up? And welcome back to Mann's World. Glad to have you join me again. Today we got a practice round from Forsyth, Illinois, getting prepared for an upcoming tournament called the Head to Forsyth Open. Hole 1 here is a 371-foot par 3. Pretty straight shot if you want to kind of use the tunnel side of the fairway, or you can go out wide left with something that's going to be stable and end up working back to the right late. A good starting hole here that makes you get that arm loose and stretch you out. 371. First on hole 1 here is Kurt. Kurt takes the wide left route, stable forehand, works it back into maybe a circle 2 edge. Here's Cody, pulling it straight down the middle. Pipe shot here, got to be clean, but it gives you a chance to get to the green. Last but not least is myself, going out wide, trying to go left-hand, backhand hyzer. Got a little bit of flip on it, ends up kind of pushing 2 straight. We did take 2 off the first, so here's a couple extra throws. Going for a similar line as I did on the first tee shot, but trying to keep it a little bit tighter to the tree line, trying to work it back in there. Better line or shape, but just came up a little short. Here's where my first shot ended up, gave me a circle 2 bid. Wasn't quite warmed up for that shot. Here's Kurt's look, also circle 2, on line but a little short. And Cody with the stepper, same deal. Boring par golf to start. Hole 2 is 253 feet, par 3. You got the OB creek to the right. You also have the OB walking path left. So it makes a pretty tight green. Total disclosure here, all 3 of us went OB on these tee shots. So we did utilize some mulligans. A little gentleman's agreement. We all decided to take a second one off this. I did not film those, so these shots do not equate to the score on the scorecard. So we all took a second shot. Of course, those were all great and parked in the circle. We all had pretty much tap-in birdies. Hole trace, 276 feet, par 3. Pretty demanding tee shot here, making it through the gap, not banging off one of these trees. A little bit of a ceiling, not as bad this time of year, but normally with the growth on the trees, got to keep it low and tight, piping it pretty straight before you get a little left to right finish, hopefully accessing the green here and getting somewhere inside the circle for a putt. Dr. K here, opting for the forehand flex shot. Puts a nice shape on it, pushing it through the trees, getting it down pin high, but circle 2. Cody trying to go with a little backhand hyzer flip, doesn't quite get the turn. I'm also attempting the hyzer flip down the middle play here, also lacking the turn, ends up fading out right. Kodiak with the approach shot. Beautiful, putting it right inside the circle, giving himself a nice look at the par. Here I am with the jump putt approach. Had a strong left to right wind that kind of just grabbed the wing and smacked it down. Kurt with this circle 2, pitch up. Par town, population 3, and we're moving on. Hole 4 is 244 foot. Pretty fun little off the cliff shot here. Got to have something that's pretty much working left to right the whole way, but not too stable. It's going to skip hard or move you fast past the green. So fun, unique shot here. Forsyth is full of all kinds of great shots, but this is one of my favorite tee shots in the park. It doesn't take a big arm to get there, but it's always fun to throw downhill, be able to watch the disc, do some more dancing in the air. Dr. K continue to lead off the tee. Beautiful shot here, getting that left to right fade the whole way. That slow, steady turn and parking it. Here's Cody going for the same type of line. Ends up just coming up a little bit short. Being a lefty myself, trying to go with that kind of pushing hyzer. Also coming up short. Kodiak giving it a run from the second of the circles. A little bit wide right, gives it a good bid. Also giving it a circle 2 bid here. Ooh, close, a little bit left. Kurt, bang, nice easy tap in birdie. Hole 5, and for the HTFO, we are going to the A pin here, 443 foot par 4. It's one of the tougher holes on the course. It's got the OB Creek that runs throughout. Got to figure out a way to navigate that kind of first and foremost. You can go directly across where the short pin is and play it up from there, or you can take this route and try to kind of cut the corner and stay on the near side of the creek, laying up to try to get an easier approach from here. Once you get across, then you got to work your way kind of a little bit up the elevation, finding your way around the trees and getting to this green that's pretty well guarded. So pretty challenging 443 foot par 4. Cody taking the first crack at it. It's trying to take the shortcut route. Pretty good pull, but gets caught up in the trees a little bit. I'm also trying to take that right side route. Got to go with the flex forehand. Ends up turning into a cut roller, ends up in the creek. Being the amateur cameraman that I am, I missed Kurt's tee shot, but there he was throwing his second shot. Safe, but down near next to the creek. Cody's second shot here had a good pull. Got most of his flight, ended up getting knocked down by some trees late. I was in the creek, so after a drop, throwing 3, still a tough approach. Ended up cutting out early. Although I was the only one that went OB off the tee, none of us were unscathed on this hole. Hole 5 registered bogey or better for all 3 of us. Hole 6, and my bad about the preview here. Didn't realize my camera completely flipped up when I hit the branch. However, it's a short one here, going to the A pin, 216. You got a Mando tree you got to beat to the left. You'll see it as we tee off here. The yellow arrow. Hurt flexing through there. Beautiful shot. Played about as well as you can. I'm trying to flex through as well. Got to go with the backhand. Make the gap, but not enough height. Cody, unfortunately, kicking left off the tree, not quite making it through the gap. Fortunately, made the Mando. It gets a little bit too much air under his approach, sails out to the left. Got a jump putt here. Close but no cigar. And here's Kurt again. Ow, by yow. Knocking another bird. Hole 7 is a long, open, gradually uphill, 363 foot par 3. Pretty much any shot you want off the tee pad. Then from there, if you don't get close, should have a good approach. Be able to tap in at least a par. But bigger arm players do have a chance to get the bird on this one due to how open it is. But it probably takes near 400 foot of power to get up there and get into the circle. It does have the OB walking path long. Kurt first gets a nice pull on this one. Unfortunately, just a little too turned over. Never quite fights back for him. I'm going with my Axiom Proton Mayhem here. Trying to get some turn on it and flex the flight. Unfortunately, I get no turn. Have to yell 4. And I took those people out. Cody comes up and just overturns it. Gives it a big pull, but maybe a little bit too much. And now this hole turns into an opportunity for upshot practice. How close can you get the shot to the basket to be able to make it an easy par? And it's not that easy. Going neutron wide on the approach here. I really like this shot out of the hand. Thought I had a chance, but end up a little bit long. Cody trying to save par. Splashing out. Kurt trying to save his. Connects, good. Hole 8, 242 feet because we're playing to the B pin. Pretty straight tee shot here, but you might need to flex something a little bit out to the left to work back into the right to be able to beat the last group of guardian trees here. Can kind of take a straight line at it, but it's a bit of a poke and hope. be able to get through a very narrow inside gap. So if you can work it out to the left, get you an angle working back to the right, you can enter this gap right here, giving you a nice look into the circle and potentially a good putt for the bird. Dr. K, first on the tee, going with the forehand, gets it out to that nice left side gap, got some stability to work it back in, great tee shot. Trying to do something similar with the backhand line here. Again, low out of the hand, just don't quite get the distance I need to get up there. Cody trying to go backhand turnover. Just doesn't quite get the air time again to be able to work it back toward the green. Circle 2 look, gives it a good bid, parked in there for the par. Circle 2 look for myself. Yeek, close. And Kurt, bam, staying hot with the bird. Moving on to hole 9. This one will be played to the A pin. So we're looking at 319 feet for this par 3. Got a tight tunnel here. That's not too tight. It's a pretty fair fairway. But you got to hit it down the line. The B pin over here is pretty straight from the tee, but the A pin works over here into this island green. So you got the turnaround or the circle here around the basket. That is OB, making you have to get onto that island. First up, Kurt, backhand line right down the middle. Good skip working over toward the island. Good landing spot. Superman up next, going with the forehand play. Turn it over just a little bit too much. Pushes nice and straight, but doesn't work toward the green very well. Kodiak going backhand. Got a little bit high, nose up, stalls out a little short. Leaving him this approach shot from the knee. Unfortunately, skipping off the island and going OB. Kurt with what he called the Henna Blomroos approach. And then myself with another jump putt, trying to get it close. Tapping it in. Everybody cleaning up this hole. Cody, unfortunately, taking the bogey with the OB circle. Everybody else tapping in their pars. Next up is hole 10. The sign has not been updated for this hole since they added the new B pin to this. So it is 464 feet and a par 4. Pretty open to start here. You want to stay out to the right so you don't get mixed up in that tree line. And also kind of setting up an angle to be able to attack the gap that's going to lead you to the green. So if you get out in this area for your first shot, kind of lines you up pretty nicely to push through this opening, giving yourself an access to the green, which is back in here again, 464 feet from the tee shot. Pretty cool hole, probably one of the more signature holes on the course. Dr. K leading off the back 9 on the tee box, going with the backhand flat shot here. Works it pretty well down there, gives himself a good look. I'm up next. I'm throwing my D-Glow wave here. Get a good flex and full flight. I really like that landing spot for that one. Next is Cody. Also going with the backhand kind of straight line shot. A little bit inside, maybe a little bit low, but pretty good. Here's Kurt needing to hit the gap and sneaks it through there. Wow, ends up being a really good approach. Cody looking to do the same thing from a similar spot. It's a little bit tight. Ends up clipping the tree line on the inside. I got a little bit wider here, so I was able to use a forehand flex. Got a pretty good look at the gap and put it inside the circle. Dr. K having a contested look for birdie here. Great bid, leaves it a little short. Cody able to tap in and clean up, and bam, I get on the board with the bird. Hole 11, 208 foot, par 3. This one works uphill slightly the whole way. Not a whole lot of obstruction in the way, but you do have this guardian pine tree that you got to navigate. You can either go to the right side or you can work around to the left where the camera's currently coming in. But you do need something that's going to hold up or slow down so you don't skip long into the pine trees. I'm up first here, doing my plasma motion, trying to kind of throw a stall hyzer out, end up coming up quite a little bit short. Dr. K next, going with the forehand flex shot, pushing the left side of the pine tree. He ends up pushing a little long. Last but not least, Kodiak. He's going right side, going high hyzer. Gets Gets the flight around the pine tree, ends up giving himself a bid for the bird. Long stepper, little left. Hell, I wanted that one. Kurt from a knee underneath the pine tree, little right. And Cody, bang, bang, getting that birdie. Dr. K attempting to come back for par. Oh. Hole 12 pretty much flips back and goes back down the hill opposite 11. We are going to the B pin, so 314 foot downhill par 3. Some trees to navigate, start when it gets to this open gap. Then there's just one more tree to beat that you got to get behind and kind of slide up in. There is a tree line behind the basket. If you push a little long, that can cause some problems on the comeback. And you do have the OB water over to the right if you grip lock or send something the wrong direction. Kodiak going with the backhand straight line shot. Nice line on it, but ends up pushing a little bit long, ends up stalling out a little left. I'm up next, going with the backhand straight shot. Get a good line on it, but grab some clump of dirt down at the bottom. Last on the tee is Kurt. Turns it over a little bit too much, ends up pushing long into that back tree line. Here's Kurt trying to get out of the tree line. Can be pretty thick back in there, especially in the spring and summer months. Gets it out pretty nicely. Cody has a look at the bird, comes up just inches short. I also have a birdie look, comes up a little short. Hole 13, going from the short tee, or this is sometimes used as the drop zone tee. Not accurately shown here on the sign, but this is 703 feet and a par 5. Got to clear the water, get over here to this landing zone on the tee shot. Then now you're trying to navigate the tree lines, working back toward an ever-tightening fairway. You got OB that's kind of tightening up on the right side with residential areas, as well as OB on the left side here that the long grass kind of shows. So navigating these trees, trying to push straight through here. One final guardian tree to beat that blocks the access to the green. I'm trying to get in here close in 3 to 4 shots for a birdie or par look. Kodiak on the box, looking to go with the backhand straight line shot, clearing the water easily but stabling out a little bit to the left. I'm up next. I'm going with my Neutron time lapse. Tried to force some flex on it, was hoping for a little bit more turn, but comfortably clearing the water, stabling out to the left, giving me a good approach. Next is Dr. K, going backhand, nice pull. Unfortunately heading straight for a tree, knocking him down, but keeping him in the fairway across the water. One of the longer, tougher holes here at Forsyth. So after the tee shot, just looking to keep it in the middle, avoiding that OB left and right, trying to set up the next best shot you can get. Here comes Cody on his approach. Pushing it straight, gets right to the left side and right near that OB line. I'm going full pull on an orbital, backhand lefty, and ended up getting in there pretty nice. Hurt one more time on the approach. Great pull, maybe a little too much, ends up being long. Strong toss. Cody going right at it, stabling out a little early, ends up finishing a little bit too far left. Dr. K with his comeback, right on line. Cody with his comeback and just right of the basket. And I connect, knock in the 4 for the bird. Hole 14, 288 feet, slightly going uphill the whole way. Few trees here to navigate off the tee shot. Either want to go under the limbs or something that's going to punch up and over the limbs. A couple other small trees here to navigate through as you reach the green. You got a small pine tree on the right side, a little bit long, that's looking to block you, as well as a wall of bigger, thicker pine trees behind the basket if you do get a little long. I'm up first, throwing my Neutron Wrath here. Get a little flex on it, push it up there pretty nice, getting close to that small guardian pine tree. Next is Cody, backhand flex shot. Good pull, but stays to the right just a little bit. Dr. K pulling straight at it. Good flight, however, hitting the ground a little early, a little bit low. Dr. K with the circle 2 stab. Ooh, close. Cody with the similar lie, maybe a little bit closer. Hangs it out a little bit to the right. And the camera is falling here, but I do bang in the birdie. Up next is hole 15. It's a 453-foot par 4. Pretty open here, got a few trees to navigate, but your main hazard is to the right side of the fairway with the OB walkway. And the number one difficulty of this hole is the distance. I believe for the Head to Forsyth Open, this is played as a par 3, so it is a pretty long shot for a par 3 to be scoreable. Hole 15, 453 feet, par 3. I'm the first to tee off here. I'm going with the Neutron time lapse, a little forced over flex shot, seeing if I can beat the right side trees with the flex and have it pushed back to the left. Next is Kurt, going with the hyzer flip shot. It's a really good pull on it, drifts right pretty much the whole way, flips a tree and stays in bounds. Last but not least, Kodiak's the big pull, hangs it out left with some good understability. Brings it back right with a full flex shot, got the full flight, very well done. Dr. K still has a few minutes left in the workday. However, after that shot, perfect, put it in the circle. Cody looking to do the same, following up with the right hand backhand approach, also very well placed. Now I'm going opposite here. We did have a left to right wind, kind of got too much air under it, allowed it to drift and just get pushed off to the right. Here we go, cleaning up. Moving on to hole 16. 16 is playing to the A pin, so 658 feet. It is a par 4. Pretty open to start here. Just got one tree line that you got to kind of push through on your initial shot. If you can get past these trees, gives you a much better chance to have something on the approach shot for shot 2. Once you get out into this clearing or opening, again, this is the ideal landing zone. You are now looking to navigate a mirage of trees or a barrage of trees here to be able to access the basket and the green. Not a whole lot of great space, but if you work through, you can get something to skip up or slide up here, hopefully giving yourself a look from inside the circle. Dr. K going with the backhand roller attempt here. Maybe a little too much air to start, doesn't quite get it up on edge. Ends up getting a good amount of distance, but not quite where he wanted to go. I'm up second. I'm going with the forehand roller, trying to follow Dr. K's lead. Too much air as well. Also pushes off to the right, not where I wanted it to go. Kodiak going right hand backhand roller. Plenty of power, maybe a little bit too much air. Wind's pushing off to the right. In good distance, but not quite the direction you're looking for. Here's Kodiak with his second shot. Heading right toward the silver basket, looking for the black albatross. Here I am trying to flex something over the top. Ends up being too turned over. Never quite given enough time to fight back. Dr. K's second here. He probably had the best of the tee shots, but not a great lie to be throwing a second shot here. Gets a little bit of distance, but does clip some brush coming out. Not quite getting to where he wants to be. Going with the forehand approach with my overstable deflector. Make it through the gap, do clip a tree, but get to circle's edge. Dr. K from circle 2, looking to make a long range connection. Good bits, a little bit off to the right. Kodiak also with the circle 2 look. Maybe circle's edges, just a little bit short. Similar for me, a little bit short off the front of the cage. No good. 17 presents another unique shape here at Forsyth. It's 272 feet off the tee and a par 3. You want to push something straight, 175 to 200 feet, beating this angled tree here in the middle of the fairway. And around this point, you want to get something that's going to start working to the left pretty quickly. Or I guess the second option would be to play up to the near side of the creek, try to pitch over for your par. But if you want to get across and have a chance at the bird, need something that's really going to work right to left quickly. Dr. K going to attempt the high hyzer line here. There are some ninja branches up top that are hard to see, knocking down Kurt's shot. I'm going to go with the more straight line, stable forehand. I'm throwing my time lapse here. Get caught up on the last tree I needed to beat. Leaves me safe, but on the short side of the creek. Kodiak also opting for the high hyzer, connecting with the ninja branches and getting knocked down. Dr. K with a good pull here, just leaves it a little bit low, hitting that edge of the creek and dropping OB. Cody adjusting for the height. Ooh, from this angle looked like it went through the basket. Most of the tee shots, leaving with the jump putt across the creek, connecting with the guardian tree, not getting where I wanted to be. Kurt with a similar approach on his third, puts it right where you want. And Cody with the look at par, drains it, taking the elevator down. Tapping in my par, and we're moving on. Finishing hole here at Forsyth is 276 feet. You need something that's going to work left to right on this one, so you're pushing straight through this gap. There's also a tighter inside gap that you could play. But if you get out here with a good hyzer line, a little bit of height, you can get something that filters down, maybe hits the ground around in this area, and then skips or scoots up toward the basket, giving yourself a look for the bird. Going into this last hole, I know I got a one-stroke lead on Kurt. Trying to put it out wide and let it filter over. Just missed my line, early release. Cody up next, taking the backhand turnover approach. Middle of the fairway, not too bad of a result. And Kurt taking that inside kind of cheater's gap. Ends up flexing through there pretty well. Got a good spot. Pretty tough lie here, so got to get creative. Going high and hyzer flex with the forehand. End up with a circle 2 look. Here's Kurt's look at bird. Leaves it just a little bit short. Here's me to try to keep the win. I fall off the rim. We all tap out. Final scores. I end up even. Dr. Kurt was even, and Cody was 12 over. Couldn't leave it as a tie, so here's a sudden death playoff between Dr. Kurt and myself. Kurt was the first on the tee, going forehand out wide. Gives himself a pretty good shot, maybe a circle 2 look. I'm up next. I go for the home run hit here, taking the inside gap with the hyzer flip shot, and I park it. Probably the best drive I've ever had on this hole. Kurt has a look to stay alive. Good bid, just a little bit left. Here I am, tapping in the bird to finish the game. Thank you very much for checking out the video. If you would, love to have you subscribe for more content. Like the video if you enjoyed the style, and leave a comment on things that you think we could improve for the next one. Much appreciated. We'll catch you on the course.